Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind. And just like that, just as expected, the evidence drops. I've been saying this over the last couple of weeks that we've been covering this whole Fani Willis, Nathan Wade controversy. Fani Willis's little lover boy problem that could potentially have this entire case dismissed. And as we've been covering the topic, we've read multiple times that it was just an accusation so far, no evidence had been presented. And my response has been, well, most likely, if it happened, we're gonna get the bank statements. It shouldn't be too hard to find. If Nathan Wade did in fact pay for flight tickets and a Caribbean cruise, it's going to show up on his credit card statement. Or you could just contact the cruise company and with a subpoena get the transaction history almost instantaneously. And so now as we have an official investigation into the matter, it was only a matter of time. And look at that, pretty much 2 days later, the evidence drops. It's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's no longer a right-wing funded attack on Fani Willis. Nobody's playing the race card. It's not a racist, Trump-funded hit piece. No, it actually happened, and Fani Willis is in big trouble. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so some bad news for Fani Willis. Not exactly surprising. Her horrible, disingenuous reaction to this whole scandal was pretty much telling enough, but now we have the evidence. Kanekoa the Great on Twitter writes, breaking, divorce papers reveal Fani Willis's alleged lover and chief Trump prosecutor bought plane tickets for Fani Willis to travel to Miami and San Francisco, along with organizing luxury vacations on Royal Caribbean and Norwegian cruise lines. Since plaintiff filed for divorce, he has taken trips to San Francisco and Napa Valley, to Florida, and even gone on Caribbean cruises, enjoyed a trip to Belize, another to the country of Panama, and even just last month took a trip to Australia. The evidence is clear that Mrs. Willis was an intended travel partner for at least some of these trips, as indicated by flights he purchased for her to accompany him. Defendant seeks to depose Mrs. Willis in order to determine details surrounding her romantic affair with plaintiff, as there appears to be no reasonable explanation for their travels apart from their romantic relationship. Let's take a look at the bank statements. Here we have Capital One Spark Business. This is Nathan J. Wade's credit card. On April 27th, purchasing 2 Delta Air tickets, it seems to be a round trip from Atlanta to San Francisco and back. And as you can see, passenger 1 was Nathan J. Wade, passenger 2, Fani Willis. They also purchased 2 tickets on the Royal Caribbean cruise, American Airline tickets to Miami, as well as Norwegian Cruise Line tickets, and what seems to be a hotel room at the Hyatt Regency in Aruba. And so there you have it, that's the evidence. Do you need to see any more? Fani Willis and Nathan Wade made multiple trips to the White House, only to then, shortly thereafter, prosecute Donald Trump. Since 2022, Fani Willis authorized nearly $700,000 in payments to Nathan Wade's law firm, and then throughout the year they went on romantic trips. She took taxpayer funds, funneled it through her lover boy, and then lived a life of luxury traveling to some of the most beautiful places on this part of the globe. What could possibly be the explanation? Were they trips that were pertinent to the work that they were doing? I certainly don't think so. I'm not sure if this is a personal credit card of Nathan J. Wade, but it's certainly in his personal name. It could be a business credit card, but really, what does it really matter? I don't think you can possibly justify these trips as business trips or trips related to the prosecution whatsoever. You don't go on fancy cruises for business now, do you? The only possible explanation was that these trips were romantic in nature. In other words, Fani Willis abused her position as district attorney to enrich herself and her boyfriend. It's also incredibly ridiculous. From start to finish, Fani Willis claimed that anybody who questioned the appointment of Nathan J. Wade as a top prosecutor was, quote, playing the race card. Remember when she said this?
I appointed 3 special counsel, as is my right to do, paid them all the same hourly rate. They only attacked 1. And I hired 1 black man, another superstar, a great friend, and a great lawyer. First thing they say, oh, she gonna play the race card now. But no, God, isn't it them who's playing the race card when they only question 1? Isn't it them playing the race card when they constantly...
She also claimed that Nathan J. Wade is a superstar, and he got in that position based purely on his own merit. But you do a little bit of research on this guy, and then you find out that Nathan J. Wade was a personal injury attorney without any prior prosecution experience. Not exactly the type of candidate you'd expect to be a special prosecutor. Supposedly, he's a legal rock star, but obviously as we learn more information here, and especially as we gather evidence here, it's clear that Fani Willis is a liar, liar, liar. Liar frickin' pants on fire. Obviously, her defense never really added up now, did it? I don't know about you guys, but I'm just gonna use Occam's razor here. The most simple explanation I think tends to be the most likely, especially in situations like this. And of course, Fani Willis's explanation, not exactly believable, simply follow the money, follow the funds. The orders to prosecute Donald Trump came from the White House, based on a previous anonymous report that Newt Gingrich gave. Let's go ahead and play that clip again so we can add that context.
That I am told, this is hearsay, but I am told by a reliable source that Friday evening, somebody from Washington called the district attorney in Atlanta and said, you have to indict on Monday. We have to cover up all of the mistakes we just made with Weiss. And she said, apparently, my jurors aren't coming back till Tuesday. And they said, you didn't hear me. You have to indict on Monday. And she said, well, they're not going to get here before noon. They said, it doesn't matter. She said, this means it's going to be 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. They said, it doesn't matter. We need the news media shifting.
Who made that phone call?
We don't know. And I'm telling you up front, this is hearsay, but it's from a person who has remarkably good sources.
I totally believe it, though, because that would explain why they leaked and they messed up on the clerk document, why she was exhausted, and why they had the 11 p.m. press conference, Mr. Speaker.
Fani Willis and her lover boy met at the White House multiple times. In fact, Nathan Wade billed the White House directly. We have Fani Willis on the visitor logs, having a meeting with Kamala Harris. Then shortly thereafter, Fani Willis received a phone call in the dead of night that most likely came from the White House, telling her, it's go time, right now, do it. Of course, she pushed back a little bit, but her efforts were futile, and that's probably why we saw all the dysfunction the night of, where they accidentally leaked the indictment before it even dropped. And then, of course, that very peculiar 11 p.m. press conference announcing the charges. Obviously, her office felt pressured and was rushed. Newt Gingrich's claim, or the report that he's reporting on, seems to have some sort of merit to it. Then we find out that Fani Willis appoints Nathan J. Wade, the guy who met with the White House, to be the top prosecutor going after Donald Trump in the case, a guy who clearly has no place in the position that he is in. And then, of course, District Attorney Fani Willis takes taxpayer dollars, funneling it through her boyfriend as a proxy, personally enriching herself as they travel the world, living a life of lavish luxury. Folks, I don't know about you guys, but it seems pretty damn clear to me. Apply basic common sense here in analysis. There seems to be no other explanation. There could be another explanation here, but I'm thinking the most simple one is probably the most likely. And of course, what's likely here is that Fani Willis is going to find herself in some serious trouble. She's likely to recuse herself from this case, possibly even resign. But ultimately, considering this totally inexcusable behavior and the political implication of one Democrat-elected clown and her boyfriend visiting the White House on multiple occasions here, considering the context, I'd argue the whole case should be dismissed immediately. But I don't know, that seems maybe a little bit unlikely, considering the political persuasion of Fulton County as a whole. But I guess we'll have to see. Anyways, another supposed conspiracy theory turns out to be just fact. Their cases are falling apart across the board. That's the news that I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.